So, we got Sean Strickland in the news again. Of course, he's in hot water with the UFC, and really, it's honestly, I don't mind this type of controversy because Sean Strickland has been he's been basically banned from attending UFC 250, aka the UFC White House card, due to his rather controversial political beliefs. Although, in my humble opinion, uh, it's honestly an extremely like moral route for Strickland. So let's read this. UFC middleweight champion Sean Strickland is threatening to protect protests outside the White House card with a bullhorn and his title belt. With just 10 days until UFC 250 on the South Lawn, this is a major PR headache for Dana White. The event already faces criticism for its political timing as it takes place on President Donald Trump's 80th birthday, which again, I've criticized. Why on earth is it on his birthday and not July the 4th, which takes place on a Saturday this year? Like, that makes no sense. Come on. All right. Anyway, critics are calling it a political rally rather than a sporting event. In this tense atmosphere, Strickland's shocking snub has only amplified the controversy. Meanwhile, the UFC boss is trying to cool things, mirroring his approach from right after the initial White House event announcement. Strickland, who reclaimed the middleweight title with a split decision upset over Hamza Chimaev at UFC 328 last month as an underdog, revealed Wednesday he had been blacklisted from attending the major event. He announced that high-level executives notified him he was not cleared to attend the June 14th event. In response, Strickland vowed to stage a peaceful protest outside the White House gates, armed with a bullhorn and his title belt. The only male American champ banned at the White House because I said Trump is owned by Bibi. He wrote on Instagram when a fan asked why he kept it short. I made fun of the Holy Land and the Big E. I'm not trying to get censored out here. Strickland says, okay, well, yeah, this is the tweet. He got banned from attending the UFC White House event because of this. All right, so Strickland announced he bought a plane ticket anyway. I'm going to bring the belt. I'm going to get a bullhorn. We're going to go right up to the gates, he said on X. Bro, imagine they actually have a crowd there, dude. Like, imagine that. Imagine Strickland goes there and he has a crowd with him and they all just shout and disrupt the whole thing. Okay, that'd be crazy. The band pulled and Freedom 250's main event headliner Justin Gaethje, who faces lightweight champion Ilia Topuria in a title unification bout on Fight Night. After a fan called for American fighters to boycott the event, Gaethje fired back, pending "You and Strickland are relentlessly dumb." Strickland replied, "You're a real good goy. Time to switch your flag." Hey, I'm gonna be straight with you. Gaethje was asking for that. Now no one's gonna be rooting for him. Honestly, I want Topuria to win. I never thought Gaethje was gonna win anyway. But honestly, dude, I don't care if he loses. I really want Topuria to win now. I really want him to win. I'm an American. I love my country. I want to root for an American fighter. But bro, Topuria, man, my Orthodox brother, beat his ass. Honestly, I'm sorry, but please win the belt. All right. So this explosive personal back and forth completely saturated the news cycle following Strickland's ejection from the White House event by taking their feud public, and the fighters left absolutely no room for Dana White to dodge intense media scrutiny heading into fight week. Honestly, I've been very unhappy with Dana White lately, and if this is really happening with him, he really deserves this, honestly. The fallout pushed White to defend the event publicly again. When the date was first confirmed, the 56-year-old faced the same political rally criticism after it emerged the card would land on Trump's birthday. MMA journalist Ariel Helwani even called it a love letter to Trump. Now, in an interview with the Hollywood Reporter, he delivered a near-identical rebuttal. Which, again, honestly, like, I've mentioned this. Why is it on Trump's birthday? There's no reason why it should be on his birthday. It should have been on July the 4th which is on a Saturday. This is like this thing on the fact that it's on his birthday. Honestly, it's just a complete like it is, and I hate to admit it. I hate to admit it because I don't like Ariel, but it is a love letter to Trump. Like, come on, like it would have been very special if it was July the 4th, but it's not. And honestly, like I said it already that this card sucks, but of course I'm still gonna watch it. But my goodness, man. Dana, bro, holy cow, man. Like very well that Trump pulled some strings for Dana White to let some of these things happen. So this is 250th birthday of America. No, it's not. If it was, it would have been taking place on July the 4th, which is on a Saturday, Dana. Like, okay, you know what? I'm not gonna, go on a tantrum. All right, that's the story that we're going to tell. Yeah, of course you are. Frick. White said, everybody, no matter what your politics are, this is relevant to you as an American. It would be better if it's on July the 4th, Dana. I'm not going to stop pointing that out. No one will. However, the optics continuously undermine his message. The event was entirely Trump's idea, which I believe that. The 4,300 on-site seats were handpicked by the Trump administration and the UFC leadership, completely bypassing public ticket sales. The UFC is spending an estimated $60 million on production alone. Now, its own active American middleweight champion is banned from the grounds of his political speech. Yeah, which is pretty ironic since Trump promised he would, restrict, not restrict, but he would completely like go after, take down censorship, mass censorship, and give back freedom of speech to those who lost it. But I mean, not that hasn't happened, but of course, if you criticize a certain nation and some individuals over there, you are completely blacklisted, especially by Trump's people. Even if you agree with him on most of his policies, which is really like that's not what Trump promised. That's not what Trump promised. And I'm not trying to make this all about Trump, but let's be honest here. Dana White, I mean, obviously Dana White doesn't really have much to say in this matter because it takes place on the freaking White House lawn. So yeah, he doesn't really, I mean, yeah, he's in charge of setting up the event, but of course he can't completely, he doesn't completely have all the cards. White can insist this is simply a patriotic celebration, but banning a reigning champion for what he says makes it incredibly difficult to argue the event is about anything else, which is true. Very true, Dana. Also, Dana, for a guy who's all about free speech, right? He's all about, people expressing their opinion. Even to his fighters, he says that they could express their opinion. He bans their only American champ from ever attending what is supposedly America's birthday event, UFC event, base UFC event. And yeah, Dana White is obviously he's a freaking hypocrite. He's also like, let's be honest here, Dana White. This is a very Dana White thing for him to do, to say that he's for freedom of speech here, but of course when it comes to his only. By the way, Sean Strickland is one of, if not one of his most talked about champions, purely because of Sean Strickland's like lack of caring. All right, when it comes to expressing his opinions, but of course, even with and now with this new Paramount deal, like Sean can barely say anything. All right, so Dana White, even though he has one of the most talked about, most popular, well-known champions as of right now, besides Saporia and Pereira, Strickland doesn't have the right to speak that much, especially when it comes to being on the Paramount deal and the whole thing with the White House. Dana White is purposefully, letting, like going against his beliefs that, he believes in freedom of speech, but of course, when it comes to money, when it comes to satisfying his the very people that is giving him that money, he doesn't mind going against his belief that people deserve freedom of speech. Of course, like with Sean Strickland, Dana White is completely like fine with limiting that because it's all about the money, bro. Dana White, Dana White's a changed man, bro. He's not the same promoter he once was. Like, this is disgusting, honestly. You know what? I don't care. Dana White, he's been irritating me lately, pissing me off. I'm just like over it at this point. Have fun, Dana. Honestly, enjoy your money. And honestly, Dana doesn't even care about the UFC that much anymore. He really doesn't. He really doesn't. He's completely out of it. He cares more about his power slap and the freaking Zuffa boxing thing. And it's just like I'm not even excited. I'm not even excited that much about the UFC like I once was. Dana White is just like, she just sucks ass, dude. Honestly. Like if he retires tomorrow, I'll be celebrating, honestly. And I of course stand with Sean Strickland till thick and through, honestly. So yeah, justice for Sean, and screw Dana White.